Josh. Mr. Josh. Excellent. I'll get you Peter here. Thanks, Jeff.
But thank you guys for having me here. Today we're gonna take a little bit of the role play and sales hat off, and we're going to put on our operations hat. Is anybody excited about that? Yeah? All right, good. So you're gonna hear a lot of stuff about ops today, other than just me. I'm talking about how you can scale, how you can streamline your processes, how you can get some time back in your day. A lot of my clients, you'd be surprised, they don't want to scale, they don't want to grow, they just want to get time back in their day. And so all of that is great, but if you don't have great onboarding systems, it kind of screws it up, right? Because you can have 1 million leads, you can have 1 million role plays and 1 million everything going on, right? But if you don't have the agents to be able to field all of those leads and all of that growth, then you're not going to grow. You're going to stay stagnant. So first I want to open it up with a question about why, right? I want to talk about the why onboarding is important, and I want to open it up to the crowd. Do we have the mic, Jeff, somewhere that we can pass? So does anybody know why onboarding is important? I heard retention, I heard experience, consistency,
Expectation.
systems training. What was that back here?
The first expectation.
The first expectation, I love that. Company values, absolutely. Alignment. Streamlining and efficiency, that's good. Sorry, you guys are talking over each other over there. Anybody else? Compliance? Getting them into production quickly. Anybody else? Time saving, absolutely. I'm sure a lot of you have somebody on your team that is slowly onboarding somebody right now, probably. Has been spending the last 2 weeks on it. Compliance, yep. Someone said that too. Anybody else? I think we pretty much nailed it. You guys are great. So that is the biggest thing, right? Is understanding what that first impression to that agent's gonna be, right? Because if you tell them and you shake their hand, hey, welcome to the team, and then it takes 2 weeks for them to even get to their first training, get to their first onboarding session, even get their ICA signed, that churn might happen, right? They have every opportunity to go to another team that's gonna have those systems in place off the bat. And so not only is that helping retention to speed to the actual onboarding of it, but it's also setting the expectation of how you're going to serve them, right? Because if you're taking splits from an agent and it's taking you 3 weeks just to get them into their first meeting with your team, their expectations are not going to be met in terms of what you're able to do for them consistently throughout that relationship and that employment. And so what I'm gonna show you guys today is a couple principles of onboarding. I'm gonna show you first a very complex and intricate, fully automated system that we built for a team called USA Realty Team in Denver, Colorado. And then I'm going to end with some practical solutions that if you're just getting started, you don't know anything about onboarding, you don't know anything about automation, I'm just gonna start with like a general SOP, and we're gonna kind of get there at the end so you guys can take that home. Does that sound good? Excellent. So let me real quick sign into this Riverside so I can share my screen here. Thanks for your patience there as well. All right, let's make sure we can see it up here. So we can see here, this is what we call a mind map. This is a great place to start, right? Understanding what actually needs to happen. And so can anybody answer what you need first in any process, right? Any system that you have. What was that? Starting point, great. What do you need at that starting point?
The end goal.
Leads, I'm talking about the starting point of just any system in general. We're getting real high level here. The end goal, great. You need the end goal. And to get to the end goal, you're gonna need the information, right? The information at the starting point, that's going to be the trigger that's moving us through the system entirely. So in this case, when we talk about onboarding, we're talking about what we need to get the agent where they need to go. Now, I have a list here, but I want to start with seeing if any of you guys have some necessary information that you think you need to onboard an agent. License number. Name. Thank you, Lisa. That was the most obvious one. Contract.
This is after the interview, or is it?
This is just what you need to get them onto your team.
Okay, so you've chosen them to be on the team, and now you're onboarding them.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah, we're keeping, they've already been recruited.
Yeah.
And now it's time to get them onto the team and get them trained. Their own systems?
Your own, I mean, yourself, but like how to convey a message of start sending a lead to contact flow.
Yeah, absolutely. So information to them, right?
Websites, logins, like proper
Yeah, absolutely.
integrations.
Perfect.
So the checklist for them to start doing the steps of whatever you need.
Yes. So this is what we have built out for this team, right? Is an onboarding form. And so this is something that the agent's able to fill out that is all of their information all in one place, right? So they give you your name, they give you their contact info, they give you their license number, they give you any past history, anything that you're going to need to get them signed into your systems and moving and grooving in your lead to close process, right? Whether it's following up with leads or closing with a client, right? And so we can see on here, this team is a bigger team. They have about 70 agents or so. And so they have a team of recruiters actively. So that's why they start with who the one is recruiting it. They have first name, last name, email, mobile phone, GCI last year, licensed since what year, when they were previously a Zillow Flex team or on a Zillow Flex team, excluded sales, mentorship program, right? Does this make sense of like what information needs to come in through the system? It's all stuff that's important to you on when you're onboarding them onto your team. Because maybe if they've previously been on a Zillow team, they're going to have a different split or they're going to have a different deal with you based on their history. So any questions about this or anything that you think could be added to this form for your team? Headshots, perfect. Absolutely. Birthdays. Driver's license.
Yeah. Like, their favorite drink, their favorite treat, that kind of stuff. So, like, so that we can give them all birthdays,
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you guys didn't hear Shay there. She said,
Can you repeat that?
yeah, totally. If you didn't hear Shay there, she said they collect their birthdays and their favorite kind of candy, their favorite kind of drink. And that way, that tells the agent early, even if, maybe sometimes you forget to actually do stuff with this information, right? It's easier said than done. But when you're collecting it up front, what they're thinking about is, oh, my team is thinking about me, right? Like eventually I'm going to get my favorite drink from Shay. Eventually they're going to give me a gift, but they care about knowing who I am, right? And so setting those expectations, we talked a little bit about that earlier. So anything else that you guys can want on this form here?
You said SOI list, like PTSD file.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. Because then you can just get that imported right into your CRM. Absolutely. That's a great one. All right, cool. So what happens in this system, and I'm going to show you a very simplified way earlier, but this is like the basic principles of what's happening here, right? This onboarding form is then triggering this Zap, right? So first it's going into their Monday board to essentially create that onboarding process, right? So then they have all their information in one place. They have everything they need to put them into all of the other systems. And then they have a checklist for the onboarding, right? So having a checklist in a streamlined process of understanding exactly what needs to happen for every single agent that you're onboarding is super important. I heard somebody say once, oh, Jeff.
Does everybody understand what Zapier does?
That's a good question.
I just want to make sure. If you do not, raise your hand. We could literally help you do that right now. All right, cool. Josh, can you dive into what Zapier does and maybe some other things that are similar to Zapier?
Yes, and please stop me again if I get too deep in the nerd shit.
I got you, big dog.
But right here, Zapier, yes. Essentially, Zapier is an automation platform. So it is triggering information and data to go from one place to another, right? So what it's doing is taking what's on this form and then dumping it into their systems, right? Dumping it into another platform. And so this way, they don't have to spend a bunch of time manually going into here, manually emailing the agent back and forth. Oh yeah, I need your name, I need your contact, I actually need your license number. And so this way, a lot of really good operators will do project-based, like they'll see things as a project, but really great operators will see everything as a system, right? And so making sure that you can repeat this process over and over again because you're going to be doing it over and over again, right? You're going to be scaling. You know that these agents need to be added to your system. So why not make it easier on yourself to create something that's going to make it easier for you over and over again, right? And so there's 2 touch points here. After they do this, they then send out the ICA, right? Everybody knows what an ICA is.
Your team agreements, your brokerage
Team agreements. What's that? Independent contract. Yeah, exactly. And so they're sending that out through DocuSign. And again, that's where you want to collect. And this is, I know, this.
Yeah, let's nerd out. Let's get in the weeds.
Let's get in the weeds. All right. So once they fill out that form, this app is also being triggered, right? So the information is coming in, and you saw how there was some other questions in there of what the agent's GCI was last year, or were they previously on a Zillow Flex team, right? So in this app, what's happening now is you can see there's multiple paths. So in here, we're doing a bunch of custom code that essentially sorts the data. And then, so don't worry about that. But we then are deciding which of these paths it's going down, right? So for example, if the agent makes less than 216,000, we're sending specific ICAs to them, telling them what their splits are, right? So if you can set the standard, that way when an agent comes in to be onboarded, you don't have to deal with them and try to make a deal with them about what their splits are gonna be. It's understanding, okay, what's the data? What was your GCI last year? Excellent, it was under 261,000. This is what we offer to agents that are making under 261,000. And having that onboarding process where it's streamlined and going through those paths, you can see there's different scenarios on all these here.
And documented. As a team lead, one of the biggest things you want to make sure is things get documented, because sometimes people, quote unquote, forget, right?
Absolutely. And that's what this process is meant to do, right? Is to make sure nobody forgets, because it's not a human doing it, it's the robots doing it, right? And so what this is doing is then sending them automatically their ICAs, and again, cater to specifically what their situation is. And then once they sign, there's another Zap here that is sending them an email saying, welcome to the team, you have everything figured out, updating their onboarding system in Monday, adding them to their roster, adding them to all the systems that they have in place. And then that's the end of the process, right? That agent, all he had to do was fill out a form with his information, and then he got emailed a document, he signed, that's it, right? And so what we say at Bar Agency is bringing humans back to the human side of business, right? This system stuff, and trust me, I've been in it for 5 years. This is my trade is doing systems, it's getting in the weeds and doing this nerd stuff. And it's really difficult for me to even do that, right? As a full-time job, I love this stuff, and it makes me bang my head against my keyboard sometimes, right? But once it's finished and it's working, and you have a process where you don't have to get in the weeds every single time on something that you're doing over and over and over again, that's what makes it worth it for my teams, for the team that I'm on. We have processes internally for our agency as well. And it's one of the most rewarding things of running a business, in my opinion. Again, I'm a systems nerd.
But before you go on, Josh,
yes.
team leads, how are you guys handling your onboarding process? Are you guys sitting with agents and going document by document through the process? Any of you guys doing that? All right, so you guys are automating the process and having it go all the way through, built in, dropping right into the CRM, right into Follow Boss and everything like that? Half and a half? Question?
So what we do is I interview them, they're a good fit, then I send them to my assistant, and my assistant starts the onboarding process, and he does what essentially you're describing there. The question I had is, seems like we're always duct taping systems together and using Zaps, and they don't always work. Why is there any benefit to doing this versus maybe creating like a Google form and doing that through Google Forms?
It's really funny you ask that. That's the very simplified solution that I'm going to be giving at the end, is a Google form.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah,
looking forward
absolutely.
to it. Thank you.
I would say this is absolutely these are principles that I'm showing. What's been built has been with the full development team, essentially.
Okay.
So it really is just showing how the process is working. So then you can, to the best of your abilities, replicate that, right?
Cool. Yeah, I don't have your budget, so I'll need that Google form.
and that's what I'll bring that up right now, is the on budget version of this. But before I move forward into that, are there any questions about maybe an issue or a bottleneck that your team is having with onboarding?
We got you.
Oh, excellent.
Not necessarily a question, but just wanted to add on that point. We started with using a Google Sheet, and we've moved to this. And the reason that we've done that is because of those external automations, right? To be able to have that form clicked and submitted, and then have all this stuff in the back end. So this could be information that's creating a contact in FUB. It could be obviously sending out DocuSign. It could be setting up Monday and putting them on like a flow plan. It could be emailing, we use it for emailing recruits, keeping the like our onboarder in the loop as well. So there's like so much you can do with this that's more than just like collecting info and moving it somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I told you it was cool to go in the weeds.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think that is something that is missed in a lot of this, and especially, there's like 100 steps in these apps I'm showing you guys, so.
There's like thousands of apps that this can integrate.
Oh, absolutely. And the best thing too is if there isn't a way that's built into the system, like really, like when we're creating zaps in here, like we're looking for the app that we're using. So whether that Follow Boss has stuff in here, Brivity has stuff in here, Bold Trail has stuff in here, like all of these systems that you guys are using have their own Zapier actions, because this isn't like unknown system that people never use, right? Or just nerds like me use. It's a lot of businesses are getting in here and slowly watching a few YouTube videos to figure this out. So the easier one that I'll show you next is how to create a Google form that will kind of replicate what this onboarding form is, and then create a checklist via that Google form that's going to keep your team in line and actually streamline that process. I don't know, Jeff, how much time, do we have time to get into that a little bit?
Yes, you do.
This browser is the new ChatGPT Atlas browser.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's not that good yet, don't use it.
Who's playing around with it? While you're pulling that up, Josh, what do those browsers, what's the reason for those browsers' existence?
Absolutely. Well, for somebody like me, and honestly for somebody like you that's selling stuff all the time, right? We can just access ChatGPT right here. I find myself often taking stuff from my browser, copying it and pasting it into ChatGPT to ask it how to do basic things like send an email to somebody without sounding angry, right? Or maybe, I don't know, putting together like marketing, or putting together an email that you need to send out to your entire database, right? And so instead of copying and pasting that data, you can actually just access ChatGPT right here. Can everybody see it? Oh yeah, great. And you can just ask it questions about what is actually on your screen right there. So you don't need to do any copying or pasting and pushing over into ChatGPT. You can just have it read your screen right there. So it is really helpful in that regard to eliminate some of that like additional data entry. And it also has an agent mode, which is pretty cool. And
I bet you want to show us.
Yeah, I do want to show you. So you tell it basically what to do. You come down here and just press agent mode. And then you say, open a new Google form.
Are you using Whisperflow?
No, I just typed that in.
Oh, okay.
I do use Whisperflow though. That's another great one I can show you guys.
Make sure you're here for lunch.
So now you can see it's going into my ChatGPT. I'm not touching it. And it's just opening the form for me. And so obviously there's more complex tasks that you can have it do for you. Sometimes I have like 4 or 5 of these open and I just have them doing my work for me. But yeah, it does exactly what you tell it to do. And then it says, done, I've opened a fresh Google form for you. And so now I can kind of show you guys what it is. Are there any questions about how to use that? I know we'll open this can of worms.
Does anybody want to go deeper with this?
Yeah.
And, sorry. So I've been using Comet for about 2-3 weeks, and it's got a little assistant on the side. And I had somebody reach out to me on a sign call and wanted to see a property, and she was insistent on having a Zoom call. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll send you a Zoom link, and I did. And then she told me that, oh, there's a problem. I can't open it. Let me send you a Zoom link. So she sends me a Zoom link. It says Zoom. It looks like Zoom. I'm like, this doesn't sound right. So I asked the assistant, hey, is this a phishing email? And I had my email open, and it scanned it, said where the servers were located, and that it looked like phishing, and called it out. And so I just told her to take a hike.
And that's like an extreme security measure too, but it can also just do really cool, simple stuff.
Yeah, that was it. But it was
awesome.
A use case that was pretty simple. So
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Does anybody else have any cool AI stories?
Run it.
All right. So this is Google form. So what we're going to be doing is recreating this form here inside of Google. And then we're going to be using the Google Sheet that it connects to as our hub for onboarding processes, right? So once we submit a response to this, it's going to add a row to our Google Sheet And then we can add the tasks on the side of it of what has been done for that person, what hasn't been done for that person, and then we can keep track of it in there. And again, if you don't have a Google account, you can get one for free, which is awesome. You can create a Google form for free, and you can do all of this for free. And so in this very low barrier to entry, you just press create a form, and then you start typing in these fields, right? And so if we create this one, let's call this our onboarding form. This is the form the agents will fill out.
You're actually giving it a description so
Onboard.
that people know what the form's for. Wow.
Exactly. All right. And then so the first questions are going to start with stuff like your basic contact info, right? Oh, Joey.
Just real quick, it could be shared with us later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll share the link with you guys. And just it'll be an example, and you guys can copy it and change it however you want. So we'll start with first name, and then Google makes it really easy for us to just add here, and last name. And I'll keep it simple for the sake of time here in terms of the data. Phone number, email, and how long have you been an agent? Okay. So here we have our form, and so I'll just go ahead and press publish here. And so if we take our form into public version, we fill this out. We'll do Jeffrey, don't know last name, and 3322556. Jeff@power.com. How long have you been an agent? 1 year, right? And so we'll submit that, and then go back to what we have here. We'll see this responses, right? So first of all, I do want to stop. I do find myself going a little too fast in these. Does anybody have any questions about how to create a Google form? Like in what I just showed there? If you are, it's okay. Cool. All right. So once you have that Google form created and you have a response, it'll show this response page. And you'll see this right here where it says link to sheets. And so we'll click on that and have it create a new spreadsheet, and we'll call it onboarding easy enough.
And don't be shy. Open up Google Forms on your computer while he's doing this and build it with him. That way you're not taking notes, but it's being built while you're in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can continue to iterate on this as well as improve it and make it better when you get back as well. Okay, so now we can see here that these responses are pulling up into our Google Sheet, right? So we have all the information that we're gonna need. Obviously, you're gonna need a little more than the 5 fields, but all of that will show up here in